Have you ever been the top of the top? I've always given it everything I have, whether it was studying or work. I've worked harder than anyone else. But I've never been the top of the top, not even once. Not at school, not at work. I've never climbed the ladder, but I can't be the only one. Most people in this world will never become the top of the top, right? What's the difference? The ones who reach the top of the top are terrifyingly devoted to research. They study their target relentlessly, breaking it down until they fully understand how it works. And only then do they put in the effort, built on a foundation of deep understanding. Just think of a top-level stock investor. They didn't succeed by luck. They win because they've studied the market on a level most people can't even comprehend. Top investors are often insanely good at games too. One genius-level investor from Japan made hundreds of thousands of dollars through gambling while he was still in high school. According to him, if you're good at games, you're probably good at investing. Top-level gamers do things that seem downright impossible. They'll spend 10, even 20 years mastering the same game. And without ever reading a single line of code, they break the game down on a level that's almost unbelievable. You'll never become a top player by playing casually. Just like how most people will never succeed as investors. So I've decided to study games myself and aim to become a top player. This channel is all about game development, especially roguelike games. In roguelikes, dungeon maps are generated randomly. You can see how the layout changes each time, right? AI has been evolving like crazy lately. Some people even say we won't need software engineers anymore. So really, there's no reason not to use this thing. I'm gonna let it build it. Man, this thing can seriously do anything. It knows everything. No matter what I ask, it just gives me the answer. Instantly. Look at that. It just wrote the code in a second. Can you believe that? Maybe it's true. Maybe we really won't need software engineers anymore. And I say that as one. I might actually have to start preparing to be unemployed. I mean, if anyone can build software now, then why would a CEO keep devs around? If I were the CEO, I'd probably fire most of them too. I went ahead and copy-pasted the code straight into Unity, and boom, random dungeon generation was done. It was insanely fast, like, way faster than I ever expected. Huh? Wait a second. This room looks way too big. Something's off. Did it really work like I thought it did? What the hell is this? The rooms aren't even generating. Did ChatGPT just spit out some random nonsense? I mean, it seemed amazing at first, but maybe it's not as useful as I thought. Seriously, this is bad. Nothing's working. Nothing's even there. Looks like I'll have to fix the code myself. If I don't fully understand the algorithm, it's just gonna keep breaking. And without that understanding, there's no way I'll ever reach the goal or become a top player. Now let me explain the BSP dungeon generation algorithm. Take a look at this diagram. Right now it's just a single black rectangle, that's all. Next, we split this rectangle, either vertically or horizontally. It doesn't matter which. And that thing on the right, that's called a graph in discrete mathematics. Don't worry, you'll understand what it means by the end. It's not as complicated as it sounds. Then, we divide both areas, 1 and 2, once more. Now we've got 4 separate sections in total. Now we place a room inside each of the sections. The size of each room is random. Now focus on the red borders. Rooms 1 and 4 came from the same parent, so they're siblings. Same goes for rooms 2 and 3. They also came from the same parent. So we have 2 pairs of sibling rooms. Next, we connect the sibling rooms at the bottom level, the ones outlined in red. Now let's move 1 level up, to the parent nodes. Look at the blue borders. These are the parents of the red outlined siblings from earlier. Each of these parents also has its own sibling, so now we're connecting these sibling parents. To do that, we simply choose 1 room from each side. From the left parent, we can choose either room 1 or room 4. From the right parent, we can choose either room 2 or room 3. Then we draw a corridor between the 2 selected rooms. In this example, the left side chooses room 1, and the right side chooses room 2. You can see, they're now connected. All the rooms are connected. Success. In a roguelike game, it's essential that every room is reachable. And with this algorithm, we can guarantee that. Now let's try a different pattern, connecting room 1 and room 3. You can't draw a straight line between them, but that's okay. We just extend a corridor from room 1 to the boundary line. Now just connect the 2 ends along the boundary, up and down. That's it. The rooms and corridors are now connected. Simple, right? In this case, there are 2 rooms on each side, so we have 2 times 2 equals 4 possible combinations. I won't go over all of them, but you get the idea. No matter which combination you choose, every room ends up connected. I won't go into this part today, but things get more complicated when you have rooms without siblings. In the diagram, for example, room 1 in the red box can't just connect to any other room. If the rooms are too far apart, some connections just won't work. Should we use the Pythagorean theorem to calculate distance? Well, not quite. That alone isn't enough. Most algorithm tutorials actually skip this case entirely. There isn't just one right answer, so if you're up for a challenge, try figuring it out yourself. Don't worry, you don't need advanced math. Unfortunately, I ended up having to debug most of it myself. ChatGPT rarely gave me the correct answer outright. Instead, I had to build up the facts one by one, form a hypothesis, and test it over and over until I found the solution. ChatGPT often lies with confidence. It gives wrong fixes. It makes flawed analyses. You have to question everything it says. The only way forward is to keep digging until you find the real cause of the bug. Still, I believe ChatGPT is a revolutionary tool. To speed up debugging, I developed a custom debugging tool. It allowed me to visualize the internal data, plotting colored squares on specified coordinates, drawing tree diagrams, and more. But here's the truth. I didn't code it myself. I just pasted the code ChatGPT gave me. When I asked it to help me visualize debug data, it delivered. But remember, ChatGPT never suggests things. It only does what it's told. It's like an employee who follows orders exactly. Nothing more, nothing less. That's why its effectiveness depends entirely on the user. I'm convinced. In the near future, we'll see people building amazing companies with AI, completely on their own. The gap between those with true skill and those without, it's only going to widen. When I was a kid, I saw randomly generated dungeons in games and thought, whoever made this must be a genius. I honestly couldn't imagine how it worked. But now, after years of learning and trying, I finally built one myself. And guess what? It's not magic. It's just logic. It's structure. Once you understand the system behind it, even a child could do it. Understanding the mechanism, that's the first step toward becoming top of top. People who keep winning. It's not luck. Elon Musk, Bill Gates, top YouTubers. They succeed because they see the structure. They understand the rules of the game. Even if Elon lost everything, he'd probably rise again. Because he gets it. So, what about you? I figured out the algorithm for random map generation. But I still haven't cracked the algorithm for success. Just look at my YouTube channel. Only 7 subscribers. That says everything, doesn't it? Still, I believe someday I'll understand the algorithm for success too, and I'll implement it, just like I did with the dungeon generator. Alright, here's what I've made so far. The enemy AI is, well, a bit rough. But hey, just ignore that for now. There's a special announcement at the end, so stick around. It's taken me about a month to get to this point. There's still a ton of work to do, but at least I've got something video-worthy. Just to be clear, this is an early stage of development. The quality is obviously not where I want it to be yet. But when I finally release this game, I want it to feel like something made by a real studio, not just a solo developer. So please, if you enjoyed this journey even a little, consider supporting the project. It really helps. Before I wrap up, let me share my ultimate goal. One day, I want to implement an online ranking system. That means players from all over the world can compete for the highest score. When you complete a dungeon, your score gets submitted and stored on a server. This way, you're not just playing, you're part of a global competition. I also plan to keep releasing new dungeons even after launch. One of them will be called Impossible. And yes, I want it to feel truly impossible. A dungeon so brutal that nobody can beat it. Not for years. Of course, running servers costs money, even just a little. That's why I hope to cover it with YouTube revenue. So if you enjoyed this video, please consider supporting the project. Like, comment, and subscribe. Every bit helps. And who knows, maybe you'll be the first to beat impossible. Aim for the top of the top. And to the few, the 4 or so people who keep watching my videos every time, thank you, truly. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. See you later.